You've been there, right? You spend hours polishing your resume, you find the perfect job, you hit submit, and then crickets. Just silence. It feels like your application just disappeared into some kind of digital void. Well, you are definitely not alone. So let's get into it and figure out exactly how to get your hard work seen in this crazy job market.
I mean, this quote from Reddit just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It captures that frustration we've all felt. It's like, why are there all these secret rules and hoops to jump through just to talk to someone? But here's the thing. What if I told you that understanding those rules is the key to actually winning the game?
So what is this application black hole? It's that awful feeling when you send your resume out into the universe and get nothing back. But here's the #1 reason it happens, and it's probably not what you think. It's not that you aren't qualified. It's that your resume was likely never even seen by a human being. And that's because you have to get past the gatekeeper first.
Yeah, your first hurdle isn't the hiring manager. It's a piece of software. A digital gatekeeper known as an applicant tracking system, or ATS for short. And honestly, understanding how this thing works is the absolute first step to getting noticed.
Okay, so what even is an ATS? Well, think of it as a bouncer for resumes. Companies get flooded with applications, so they use this software to do the first pass. It scans your resume, looks for very specific keywords and formatting, and then it literally ranks you against everyone else. Only do resumes that score high enough ever make it to an actual person.
Now, you have to remember, these systems read things way differently than we do. An ATS could not care less about your beautiful, custom-designed resume. In fact, all that fancy formatting, it can actually make your resume totally unreadable to the bot. It loves simple things, standard fonts, clean formatting, and keywords. But it gets totally tripped up by text you put in headers or footers, columns, or any cool graphics. The takeaway here is huge. Keep it simple to get past the bot. This right here is what Martin Yate calls the secret language of job hunting. And what are these magic keywords? They're your transferable skills. You know, things like communication, problem solving, and leadership. The ATS is specifically programmed to hunt for these words, matching them against the job description. So your job is to learn this language and start speaking it, loud and clear on your resume. Okay, so you've tweaked your resume, you've added the right keywords, you've beaten the bot. Awesome. But that's only half the battle. Once you get past that digital gatekeeper, your resume finally lands in front of a real person. And now, you got to do more than just list keywords. You need to tell a compelling story.
I really want you to adopt this mindset. Think of yourself as a skills hero. Seriously, your skills are your superpowers. What are the unique strengths that you and only you bring to the table? Figuring this out is the first step to building a narrative that's not just a list of jobs, but a story about who you are.
But how do you find those superpowers, right? Well, this is where you got to do the work. Practical things like brainstorming or creating a mind map are fantastic for this. Just grab a piece of paper and start writing down everything you're good at, from software programs to how you handle a tough client. Laying it all out visually can show you patterns and strengths you didn't even realize were your biggest assets.
And hey, if you're wondering where to even begin, start here. These are some of the heavy-hitter, transferable skills that employers are always looking for, no matter the industry. Things like communication, teamwork, and adaptability, they're gold. So think back, where have you really used these skills in your past roles?
But look, it is not enough to just write teamwork on your resume and call it a day. You have to prove it. And the single most powerful way to do that is to shift from listing your responsibilities to showcasing your quantifiable achievements. You have to show your impact with numbers.
I absolutely love this quote. Espresso shots of your resume. That's perfect. Your action verbs are what give your resume its punch. So instead of saying, was responsible for, start every bullet point with a powerful verb. Launched, improved, negotiated, resolved. It instantly makes you sound more dynamic and proactive.
Just look at this before and after. Responsible for increasing sales. Okay, that's fine. It's passive. It was your job. But closed $2 million in contracts within the first 6 months, exceeding annual quota by 20%? Wow. Now that is a result. That tells a story of success. And that is what makes a hiring manager stop scrolling.
Let's look at a couple more examples. Instead of just saying you designed materials, tell them your designs led to a 25% increase in attendance. Don't just say you helped with customer issues, show them you resolved customer service issues and achieved a 98% satisfaction rate. Always ask yourself, what was the result of the work I did? All right, let's tackle one of the biggest confidence killers out there. You find a job description, you're reading down the list of qualifications, and you realize you don't check every single box. It can make you feel like your light isn't bright enough to even bother. But this is exactly where we need to change our thinking.
You need to burn this into your brain. A job description is a company's wish list. It is not a checklist. They're describing their absolute dream candidate, knowing full well that person probably doesn't exist. They're outlining the ideal, but they almost always hire for potential.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question, the one that stops so many talented people from even trying. Should you apply if you are not a perfect 100% match? And the answer is absolutely, 100% yes.
In fact, here's a good rule of thumb. If you meet about 70, maybe 80% of what they're asking for, you are a strong candidate. You should apply. Don't take yourself out of the running. Remember the story of Lumi the Star? Her turn came not because she was perfect, but because she just kept shining. You have to give yourself the chance.
And that's because this is what hiring managers are really looking at. They're seeing the bigger picture. They often care way more about your soft skills, like how you communicate and solve problems, your potential to learn and grow, and whether you'll be a good fit for the team. They can teach you a new piece of software. They can't teach you how to have a great attitude.
So, how do you handle that missing 20%? Well, first, you lean into the transferable skills you do have. Second, you show them examples of when you've learned something new really quickly. Third, like we talked about, you back it all up with concrete results. And finally, if it comes up, you address the gap with confidence, not as a weakness, but as an area you're excited to grow in.
This quote from Resume Spice just says it all. It's not about being perfect from day one. It's about showing that you have the promise to become an amazing employee, the ability to learn and adapt, and a history of actually delivering results. Because winning is just one moment, but growing, that's forever.
So as you go back to work on your resume, I want you to leave with this one thought. Your resume isn't just a boring list of jobs and dates. It's a story. It's the story of your skills, your impact, and your growth. So my question for you is, what story will you tell?